So welcome back to Tabbi.
Welcome back to Tabbi.
Cheers.
Hey, cheers. I don't know what beer I should drink. Welcome back, studio. Second episode in the new studio. It's terrific night. You don't know because we keep it like that.
Yeah. Today we've decided to maybe some bourbon.
Bourbon and beers.
Look at that ice cube. That's a big one. That's a good one.
What kind of bourbon is this? Di Serrano? That's not even bourbon. It's
Not sponsored. Should be sponsored. Woodford Reserve. My go-to. That's a go-to for me. It's, in my opinion, the best bottle of bourbon you can buy for less than $40.
Have you bought the Costco or Sam's brand?
Yes, done it all.
I like their.
It's good. There's
they
nothing
got
wrong.
good vodka. It's like Grey Goose-ish, you know.
They do. There's nothing wrong with it. It's great. It's definitely good, but Woodford's the jam.
Cheers.
Cheers.
People, eye contact.
How are you today?
I'm good, man. So exciting news. Just got the email setting up for this podcast, which I don't know when y'all are going to see this episode, but some new legislation just got passed through the House.
Did it start in the House? Or start in the Senate?
It started in the Senate, so it just was taken up on the floor of the
going
House.
to the governor.
Yep. So after an explanation of the bill received second reading by a vote of 103-0. The subcommittee chair of the bill then asked for the bill to be given a third reading, passed the House tomorrow. So that is Friday, May the 5th. This means the bill is going to clear the House tomorrow and be sent to the governor's desk for signature into law next week. So it's some big information regarding to-go limits and some other stuff that wouldn't concern people not associated with the brewery business, but transferring bonds of brewing beer like 1-to-1, and eventually, hopefully, if all this goes through, like it looks like it will, you'll be able to buy up to a sixtel of beer from a brewery. So that means breweries can now start selling a smaller keg to the homeowner individual, which is huge.
What was that word? Sixtel?
Sixtel, yep. So kegs are measured in like sixth, quarter, half, full, and it is in basically equivalency of what a barrel is. So a half keg is a half barrel of beer. 30, so it's 15.5 gallons, half of 31.
I feel like in college, all you
Sixtel,
know is like pony, half, and full.
Yeah, so that was really like a pony, I think, is like 3 gallons or something like that, which is less than a sixtel. And what everyone calls a full keg is really called a half. It's a half barrel. It's a half keg.
Because it's so heavy.
Yeah, and it's 15.5 gallons. So perfect world, I think it's like 126 pints.
16 ounce or 20.
I think it's 16s or whatever. And then we just go 100, right? You get 116 ounce pours out of a half keg. But yeah, so exciting news, man. I mean, it's going to be huge for.
Give me some. So like
I probably won't sell kegs, right? Because I don't want to deal with the logistics of you coming to buy a keg and then me now having to find that keg, right? Because you need that piece of steel back.
Yeah.
And you can charge a deposit, but think about your college days.
Interesting.
I do mine, right? You would go, we were buying kegs at Keystone Light. Man, they were like $45 for what we called a full keg, which is a half barrel. You could buy it for $45. I think Budweiser was $65. And it was like, if you bought Budweiser, you were rich because no one had that money. We could go. Anyways.
Yeah, I remember buying kegs.
The
big
keg
kegs.
deposit was $25.
Yeah, we were buying kegs for $80.
Yeah. So we never returned those kegs. We would just bring it back, get another one, and then it might be 3 months before we got another keg. If, like, just say we went to different people's house parties. So I can't wait 3 months to get my cooperage, my keg back from, you or just some kid. So for me, the raise and the to-go limit is more of now I can sell more packaged beer. If you want to come in and buy 2 cases of cans.
So what is the limit right now?
228 ounces. So 1 24-pack of 12-ounce cans. So whatever that. I think it was 228 or 288.
So why are there some states that can sell 30 racks and some can't? Is that
because of that? Yeah. So, and it's not just that. That's more of a wholesaler's agreement. And then during COVID, I think we went up to like 5. We could sell 2 cases of 12-ounce beers. And then that bill was, I can't remember what they call it, but it expired like last year. So you had to stop that. But so yeah, huge news, man.
So let's dive into it. I mean, as a beer drinker and somebody that loves to go to bars, restaurants, breweries.
I got 3 drinks in front of me.
Tabby Hour podcast, man. How does that impact your business? How will local Greenville residents notice the difference? Will they notice a difference?
I'm sure some bigger brands, right? Like Thomas Creek or Liability. Some of these guys who have a heavy footprint in distribution already, they might look more into the selling the keg to the direct to the consumer. But again, I think it all revolves around the same problem. There is a disposable option you can buy. They used to be called Pet Tainer, was the name of the company. Oh, it's a one-way keg. Basically, you come and buy it. It was like a beer ball. You come and buy it. You can hook it up. When it's gone, empty, the beer's gone, you just throw the keg away. The problem is they're kind of expensive. So you could, in lieu of charging a deposit, if you wanted to come buy a 6 of gas station sunglasses, well, we have them in these ready-to-go plastic kegs. The beer would cost X amount of dollars, and then you would pay the keg fee, and then you just throw it away when you're done.
Are there certain materials that change the flavor profile of the beer? Like, is that why metal is?
I mean, I don't know. I've never really experimented with the plastic kegs a lot. The big difference in the plastic kegs is they're brown, right? They're amber, like a beer bottle. So there's the chance of it getting light struck. But yeah.
What does that mean? Light struck?
Just like the light hitting it can cause off flavors.
Right.
And,
it does. It ruins the beer.
Mm-hmm. That's why like some things like Corona, Don't Look at Miller High Life, are in clear bottles, right? Like they just kind of absorb that flavor profile and it works.
Yeah. It's sunshine beer.
Yeah.
It's made for the sunshine. Coors Light, Corona Light.
And of course, today I'm selling a ladder and someone just bought it, which is exciting too. Like all the things are just clicking after 5 o'clock.
We should start
Thursday.
We should start setting up an iPad and just going live too while we do these. Because there's people. We could also start like having
the live thing is. I mean, could you do live with these fancy Canon cameras?
I could do live with an iPad right there, and we could have guests join us on the podcast with an iPad.
Like from Facebook? Like how would you go live? YouTube live?
We should be doing so much broadcast. We just don't. We don't have time, but we need to make the time. We have so much gear, and we have the coolest spot and the coolest people hanging out. We just need to turn the cameras on more.
And now the bar's calling me.
Do you want to answer it?
Should we
just answer it on the podcast?
Yeah, hold on.
Let's see if we can get real live. We should start taking calls.
We should take calls. All right, let's see.
Yeah, that works.
Yo,
you're on our podcast, so.
Oh, gnarly.
Yeah. Everyone, this is DJ Tennis Legend. He's a
resident.
He's a resident DJ at Magnetic South Brewery, and he's also our opening bar lead. So he's calling to say, "What's up?"
What's up, guys? How's it going?
What up, Don? What's going on? Is there something wrong at the bar? Is it on fire?
No, we had a couple people. I know you said we're making a sour. Do you know what type of sour it is, or like any type of like flavors?
Yeah, so it's going to be called Miami Vice.
Okay.
It is our new Berliner Weiss style. It'll eventually be fruited, but for the first go around, it's just going to be a clean kettled sour beer.
Okay, perfect.
So it should be out in package and in on draft, I would say within 2 weeks.
Oh, okay. That's exactly. I told her 2 weeks, so that's perfect.
Yeah, perfect.
Awesome. Sounds good.
All
We
right.
all have fun. Enjoy the podcast.
I'll see you in a little bit for trivia
All right.
tonight.
See ya. Sounds good. Peace.
Day in the life.
Day in the life, man. I mean, get ready with me, except for get ready to go to bed with me.
At 8:30.
I don't know if you can say that in public anymore. But yeah,
Who knows, man?
so yeah, beer law is changing. Things are happening. You know, it's great for the community.
Where do you see Greenville in 5 years?
Where Charlotte was 10 years ago. Like, to put it in comparative so people know, like, other big city, right? I don't think so. Growing up in New Hampshire and spending a lot of time in DC because that's where my dad lived, I never see the South getting to the level of New York or DC, right? There's so much infrastructure that's been in place for a long time.
I don't think anybody wants another New York.
Well, and I say in that as far as the infrastructure goes, right? Public transportation,
Technology has evolved to where we'll never have to have
trains. This is just something that doesn't exist down here, and that it's too far behind.
But also, we don't need it anymore. It's obsolete. Living
subway?
No. But putting that many people in the same place is obsolete when you have technology that people can work remote.
Oh well, I mean, I agree. You know, I think you will never lose a need for a solid public transportation. I mean, dude, to be able to
Metros are great, subways are great. Yeah,
it's just so disappointing that it continuously gets passed over here over and over. The bus system in Greenville is trash, right? Like, it stops running at 11 o'clock. Now, granted,
it's pretty sketch too.
Granted,
like, it's not like jumping on the light rail in Denver.
Or even in Charlotte. Like, jump on the light rail that's up there.
Yeah.
Well,
it's not very. They need to gentrify. The bus system.
It needs some love, right? And it needs to run later than 11 o'clock because, look, everyone who works from home now wants to socialize and go out, and they want to go to a bar. Well, some of those people working at the bar don't have a car. They don't want to pay for parking downtown.
Uber's crazy expensive to do every day.
Yeah. So anyways, I would love to see more public transportation. I think 5 years is a hard struck. I'd love to see a damn light train, a speed train, a fast whatever they call them in damn Japan. I think we'll see Maine the first to rail. Florida.
Oh, you want
I want a light rail, speed rail that I can be to New York City in 6 hours. You know, one of them trains that goes 200 miles an hour.
I think eventually you'll see, I mean, just thinking of Greenville, I think you'll start to see kind of a Simpsonville to Greenville rail, if anything, first.
Well, even connecting Clemson to Charlotte,
oh, interesting.
So Charlotte, Clemson, Atlanta, there's a big corridor there.
Dude, a speed rail to Charlotte would be awesome.
Dude, imagine Charlotte or Atlanta, right? It's a
Charlotte's
2 hour drive.
Solid 2 hours, yeah.
But then you sit in traffic, even loop Asheville into that.
That God forbidden
Gaffney
12-year-long construction project in 85. Whoever's in charge of that.
And then they did that stupid,
the same engineers that engineered the stoplights in Easley are the same ones that designed the Gaffney highway.
Sorry, my car wrecked. Everyone's got to wait 30 hours to move because my car broke down.
There is a stoplight in Easley. There is a stoplight intersection in Easley where Easley Bridge Road and Calhoun Memorial intersect. And it's it's the stupidest X that needs a bridge. And it's not even that, the stoplight, it's just the most poorly timed stoplight. So I've timed it. You'll wait 3 minutes. Go ahead.
Sorry.
You got to answer it on the podcast. Is it a call?
It's just
You'll wait 3 minutes at the red light, and then it turns green, and then because it's so poorly timed, the next light is backed up, so you don't even get to go through.
You talking about under Stone Avenue and 385?
Yeah. Same engineers, probably.
I don't understand how just time them so they're green.
They have these sensors now. It's technology.
So in New Hampshire, they had, and people used to laugh, but on like the light poles, there was like a little box, and it was infrared, and the fire trucks, the fire companies had like a garage door opener that like they could send the signal to it to make the lights green to go in the directions that they were going. And people were like, no, that's not what that's for. And I'm like, I'm telling you right now, they like click a button, they can make the light green so they can get their fire truck through. Because it was small
I've heard
town
of
New
that.
Hampshire.
Yeah. That makes sense. Fire trucks should have that.
I need that.
Yeah, but I mean, like emergency vehicle. If I'm having a medical emergency, or another citizen is having a medical emergency, or their house is on fire, those guys should be able to control the stoplights.
Well, and I think things are spread out a little more here.
Thank God for those guys.
Yeah. I'm blowing up. It's after 5 o'clock. Everyone's trying to do business after 5. This is a typical thing.
Just turn your phone off.
Like, I can't.
Yes, you can.
Well, you say I can, but I can't. I
Turn it on
can't.
silent.
I can't disconnect. I just can't.
Well, you have to on the podcast.
I'm not. Did you not get that phone call? That was a terrific. You learned about a new beer coming out.
No, it's great. I think it's.
But I will not. I can't disconnect. It's hard. I turned my watch off, so it didn't bing.
What's the most difficult for me is to. And it's getting more comfortable, because you and I have talked about how uncomfortable it is to see yourself, hear yourself as we talk. Like, we like doing these things, but afterwards we kind of cringe. When you see yourself, it's kind of cringy.
Yeah.
Because it's just human nature. You don't like it. But I think getting more comfortable with just forgetting that the cameras are there, forgetting the microphone's there, just having a conversation.
I wonder how celebrities feel. Like, I know they go to screenings of their own movies, but like, are they uncomfortable that whole time watching themselves?
Dude, I think.
Or do you think it's so ingrained? Like, some of these big guys, like Robert Downey Jr., he's been acting since he was a kid.
I think that most people
Al
look at them,
Pacino, he's been acting since he was 40, and
those
he's
guys,
now 90.
I think those guys still look at themselves and critique. I don't think anybody looks at themselves and goes, "I did awesome." Like, everybody is like, "Oh, they're learning from themselves." It's just human nature. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know.
Yeah. I would feel like those guys are so screen confident now, right? Like winning Emmys.
They're confident and they're good, but the reason they're so good, I think, is because they critique themselves. You look back at Joe Rogan in the beginning. The dude's just so real. I think that's part of his shtick. He's just real.
And maybe that's why so many comedians now are dropping podcasts, because it's I don't want to say it's another bit, but bits that they
Bert
do.
And Tom Segura, 2 bears, 1 cave.
Yeah, and I think that's it's the same shit that they do on stage. Like, right, it's not the same.
Flagrant's
act,
Flagrant did his own thing.
It's just them.
Yeah,
I think even when they get on stage, it's just them being on stage. So
that's a craft. It's taken. I look back at old podcasts, which we've done,
and maybe that's why the vlogger, even like Kevin Hart, he's got a great vlog thing, like reels, and they're just so natural.
I had a conversation with
Steve Harvey. Do you have a conversation with him? Because that would be a good podcast. You think we get him on the podcast?
I would love that.
Wait, who threw Tabbi through the app? Do you know?
We can't disclose that yet.
No. I'm not saying like who's like, but who do you know through Tabbi that like we could get on the app?
We can't. We'll disclose that later.
Oh, okay.
We have some fun things.
Well, I just didn't know if like you just knew somebody, like, oh, you ran into Tom Brady, and
we know a lot. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
We'll disclose. Well,
we can get them on the podcast, because I'm
not Tom Brady.
I might fangirl just.
Yeah, you're gonna fangirl over some guests.
Robert De Niro. Hey, how are you?
We're trying to fangirl.
You're here in Greenville.
That's why I wanted.
Studio.
That's why I wanted a dedicated place with a guest suite. That's like can make it happen. No, it's interesting. We just need, like, being real on camera is hard. Is that not hard? Like, it's like, even it was interesting for me before this podcast today
6 beers.
to hear you say, I get nervous because I look at you look at me and go, oh, you're so comfortable with it. I look at you and go, oh, you're so comfortable with it. But the reality is it's not comfortable for anybody.
I think I get comfortable like when I
6 beers in, yeah.
So it's well, a lot of things happen 6 beers in.
We're also just friends and like to hang out. But
you think about coming. Oh, like I'm going to the studio. We're gonna like sit down. We're gonna talk to this person today. You know, shit, what are we gonna talk? Like, are we gonna vibe? Are they gonna be a square? Are they gonna be cool? Like, you know, all those thoughts run through your mind, but then you get here and you're like, we're just people. And then it becomes pretty easy. It's more of the psyching yourself out. And I think I'm a big, I do that to myself a lot, right? I hype it up so much and then have a great time doing it and then go back and watch myself later. And I'm like, that was horrible. Like, what was I even talking about?
Have you ever struggled with imposter syndrome?
I don't even know what that
is. Are you familiar with that? So you're starting a business, you're doing this thing, and you start to kind of realize that, like, well, am I qualified to do this, or am I
100%
able to do that? It's almost like you need. We've talked about it in the past. Like, you don't need permission. This world, like, everybody's just trying to figure shit out in life, in the world.
Yeah, it happened to me. Yeah, a lot. It happens a lot. I mean, luckily I have a great team surrounding me and I can talk to them about things. And
you're one of the most authentic people I've ever met in my life. The ability for you to just stand in a place with your shirt off and say, fuck it, I am who I am and I don't care. And I'm going to tell you what I think and not give a fuck what anybody thinks.
Well, what people don't understand is that it takes a lot, right? For that side of me to come out, I'm comfortable in the situation that I'm in, right? I'm probably having a good time in this scenario. But what people don't realize is the introvert then that happens after that.
It drains your battery.
There's a lot of extrovert that happens with me all the time, right? I'm out there. My wife even says it too, like, I go out and I'm in the people view a lot, and so is she as a barber. She's got someone in her chair she talks to, right? You have to make them comfortable, and so her battery drains a lot faster than mine. I have more like an Energizer battery, right? Where she might be like the Amazon Essentials. And, you know, like, so my battery lasts a little longer, but then when my battery drains, I take longer to recharge, and it's more of a recharge than she needs, right? She could probably just deal with an overnight, where I might need 2 days of just like, I don't want to people, like, I don't even want to talk to her, right? I just need to kind of like be in a headspace and be alone because it was so draining, whether I was drinking or not, or, you know, like,
yeah,
it is I have a large battery, if you want to keep with that.
It's a good analogy.
Yeah. My draining cycle takes me a long time to drain, but when I'm empty, I need days, maybe a week, you know, just to get back to be able to be cordial and nice and interact the way that I want to with people. So
I can pretty much grind through the public thing that I need to do, no matter if it's 7 days or 8 days in a row, or, you know, business meetings, traveling, whatever. For me, it is very much a crash that happens after that.
A big crash.
Like if I go on a trip and I'm just heavily engaged for 2-3 days, you know, you do a podcast, you're working on the business side of things, and then sometimes you just have to turn it off for 48 hours. You still take the high level calls, but you try to turn everything else off just to recharge, because it's a lot.
I mean, don't answer emails. You know, there's a lot of avoidance that happens because you still, like, right, no matter what, if you get 24 hours, you recharge a little bit. You just getting up and getting out of bed Like it's draining a battery.
So what are the things that you do to recharge in that? I mean, you have these long events. What do you do after? What's your go-to?
Really, I hope it's raining.
Oh, those are the best days.
And I want to do nothing because really, if it's sunny, I don't want to pour like you just poured yourself. If it's sunny,
so you got more.
If it's sunny, I feel guilty, right? And I don't know why, it's a subconscious thing. Cheers.
I appreciate the eye contact with the cheers. I think, and it
should be harder and more awkward.
There's a rule. Like, I hate it when people cheers. My wife actually taught me this. Georgia taught me this. When you cheers and then people just are like, oh yeah, huh. It's like, it's rude. Like, no, we just cheers.
It's big rude.
Everybody take a drink.
It also means bad sex for a long time.
Yeah, we're not doing that.
And we live in the middle of the road. So that's it, right? The two things that you should always, if you get anything from this podcast, we're going to teach you two things. Hard eye contact when you cheers.
Yeah.
Middle of the road. Everything you should do, you shouldn't be great. Because if you're great and then one day you're not, people are going to realize it. And if you're not great and you're great, people are just going to be like, well, he's not great. So you just live right in the middle.
So I think I'm going to change that to just live authentic.
Well, that's middle of the road.
Yeah. And that's how we got here is you're good at that.
Just
so when you're authentic,
because then if you live in the middle, if you're good or bad, you're still in the middle.
So let's follow the train of thought. That's interesting. You're one of the most authentic people, and your battery gets drained. And so that process, it's genuine because you're like giving a part of yourself to the people you're engaging with, whether you're at an event or whether you're at a brew collab or whether you're, on a pot. You're giving
even just out at a bar.
You're giving your energy to people. And that's, I think, part of life is you decide, what do I want to give my energy to? I think that's the difference in your 20s, your 30s, and your 40s. People start to give their energy to things that matter, right? Like as you're in your 20s, you're doing like fun stuff, and it all matters because it's all fun and friends. But by the time you're 30s, you're building your life with your spouse and your family. And by your 40s, you're, raising kids or building a business or whatever you're deciding to do. So all those things are iterative. How do you recharge?
So, yeah, I mean, like I don't know, right?
Figuring it out. I'd say that's where I'm at.
I used to know.
I think I'm
right, and then life has changed, right? Because as it does, and just like if you have a business, and really every 3 years, I feel like your life and your business should go through some kind of change, right? And if
moving locations helps too.
Yeah, and if I look back on my life, like every 3 years, there was a dramatic big thing that's happened, right? Like I could break it down to a 3-year period. And I think your life kind of resets. And shit, I think I've been with Jenny, my current wife. I say current wife like I've had multiple. Jenny, my one and only wife. I want to say we've been together for 3 years. And, right, the change has now just happened again where I was the entrepreneur. And now she is becoming the entrepreneur, right? So
that's cool to see.
It's the transition of like she's seen this growth in me, and I've pushed her and helped her grow to now she sees this growth and is becoming this entrepreneur. And like now it'll be a 3-year growth for both of us of running businesses both, right? Like in concession. And
I could only imagine how difficult it is to have both. I mean, I look at our process and, I see that like my transition and journey as an entrepreneur and the support that I've had from Georgia has been unbelievable. But as she's transitioning to work like with me and help support me and my company and our company that we're building together, But I couldn't imagine like me working full time to support and build my brand and business while she's working to build and support her own business and you guys supporting each other. Like I couldn't imagine adding another brand and business to our scenario. So kudos to you guys, man. I mean, 2 brands, businesses.
She brought it up last night, right? We have been in a relationship where we've been under construction the entire length of our relationship, right? Whether
you guys
it
are
was
growing so fast though, like
whether it was COVID or selling 2 houses and buying one at the same. We sold 2 houses and bought one in the same day. 3 transactions happened. Then we moved.
That's crazy.
Then Anderson had opened. Greenville opened. Clemson's about to open. Her barbershop's about to, right? Like, I said, look, I told her last night, I was like, it set a precedence. I guess we can never not, like, this is me. I'm a mover. I'm trying to do stuff. Even when and this is again, I'm trying to find to recharge. Like, my recharge is I'm at home trying to do something. I feel guilty if it's sunny out and I'm not outside doing something. Sundays are my day off, and it's like, I want to cut the grass. Well, she's got this superstition that you can't cut anything on Sundays, because if you cut anything on Sundays, you're cutting your good luck for the week out of your life. Can't cut hair, can't cut the grass. So then it's like, well, like now I'm trying to do stuff on Sunday, and
I'm like,
and I don't want to do shit with people,
I'm
right?
trying to optimize every hour.
Well, that's what I'm doing.
I'm trying to figure out how to get like engineering teams working in India and South America so that it's 24 hours of work. So I can just I'm trying to like use the international ecosystem of technology, but
what are you doing when you're not doing anything?
Yeah,
what
so
are you doing? Just sitting on the couch watching TV?
No, so I'm
feeling guilty that you're not doing anything.
Yeah, I'm an anxious body, and I appreciate Jenny's thought towards like I wish I could turn off for a day. Like I take my team in places is like, dude, you got to turn off for a day. Just turn off your phone.
But so that's why we turn off together, right? Like, hey, even if it's a Sunday of.
We do. George and I
going
do that.
to the grocery store, going to Sam's Club, right? We're turned off, right? We're going to take a shower, put on comfortable clothes. We're going to go run by the brewery, run by the barbershop, go to Sam's, right? We're going to run these errands that are going to make our week easier.
Yeah.
But they're non-interactive. The chances, and it happens often, of like having to have a long-term conversation, like while you're at Ingles, like, yeah, we've run into some clients of hers or some people who have been to the brewery who know me. And it's like, hey, what are you doing? How are you? But it doesn't take energy because I'm not having a full conversation.
Sometimes on Saturdays or Sundays, I feel like the best thing that we do sometimes is just almost like put headphones, like put a notional bubble over us. Like we're going to go to Sam's Club or Costco. We're going to go to the grocery store. We're going to run the errands we need to do. And then we're going to go home. We're going to sit on the couch. We're going to watch our favorite episode of Ted Lasso.
Yeah, and do nothing.
And do nothing, and have dinner.
Yep.
And sort of just play on your phone for 30 minutes. Because we try to be super intentional with our time when we're together. But sometimes you just need to be in your own little brain space.
Oh, our best days, and Sunday's usually our day, right? Our best days are, we ordered DoorDash 3 times this Sunday. You know what I mean? Like we didn't leave the house. I ain't take a shower. Like
the convenience of that, man. I mean,
I try to do one thing a day, right? Like, so that's my goal. And man, it might have been a motivational speaker or something that I listened to that said, hey, you should do one thing every day, right? And that one thing, and I'm not trying to get all whatever on it, but it could be as easy as when you get up, you should make your bed.
No, I think
you have now achieved something for the day, so you can feel good about like, hey, you don't need to be upset about yourself for not doing anything because you got out of bed. You made the bed.
Every motivational speaker that was ever in the military starts with make your bed in the morning.
And it had to have been a military guy
Well,
because
so
I think he
there's a
talks
famous-
about making the bed in the military. And I'm not making a
There's
military
a famous
bed.
no, but there's a famous officer that had I know the great speech you're talking about. Make your bed. He was a SEAL commander.
Yeah.
And make your bed because if everything else goes like shit in the day, then you come
It
home
had
to
to
a
be
made
the same
bed.
guy.
Yeah.
Because it was. So Jenny
Jenny
makes
makes
fun
me
of me.
things aren't in order though. Like
Jenny
that.
makes fun of me because
I'm an obsessive compulsive.
we
about
have just a flat sheet and a duvet cover, right?
Yeah, me too.
And
Us
all
too.
as I do is when I wake up in the morning, I just pull it back up. Right? Like it's not neat and tucked in and perfect, but it is pulled up to the pillows. Like it is not square and neat, but it's there. So that way when I come in that night, I pull the covers back.
I appreciate it.
And now I've achieved one thing. And we talk about it often, even about cleaning the house, is like we don't got to spend all day Sunday cleaning the house. If you clean the toilet and the sink in the bathroom, boom, done.
It's done because the house stays
Check.
clean throughout the week.
Yeah.
So like this set, my house, my life, our life, like stays like this, just because you keep it like this.
Yeah.
Just keep it tidy. It's just more. It's mentally more engaging. I don't know what the word is, but
it's this messy mind, messy house, messy mind.
I have
don't
enough
know.
things flying around in my head. I don't need all the chaos in the exterior of that. Where do you want to go, man? We can go anywhere we want.
Let's go to Costa Rica.
No, like in this conversation.
I mean,
we
you
can go to
meant-
Costa Rica.
I mean, I got
too.
my passport.
I have a passport. Yeah, let's go.
I got a place to stay.
Done. Sold.
I mean, I'll call my dad right now.
We'll do a live show there.
We can be there in 6 hours.
Hey, let's like find the best show.
Let's just go right now.
No, I can't. I got stuff to do the next 2 days.
See?
I will
Let's
do.
unplug
I
right
will.
now.
I will go. I will absolutely plan a Costa Rica in the next week, but not right now.
So one thing we got to work on then is to get your wife to make my wife get her passport so we can go to Costa Rica.
Ginny doesn't have a passport.
No, and I don't think she's ever had a reason to have a passport.
It's $120.
Yeah, it's easy. A form.
It's all it is. There's no like blood work or anything.
Not yet.
It's just a piece of paper that all you have to do is show up with your, the documents correct. And
Yeah, no, so it's been the pressure because I don't want to say it's a free trip, but I love Costa Rica. I've been 3 times. My dad retired there. My stepmom's from there. My little sister grew up there.
You and I need to, Tabby Hour podcast should do a trip to Costa Rica.
Oh, it'd be sick.
We'll just do we'll do.
Let's go to El Salvador too, because I love a pupusa.
Yeah, it's fun.
I love Central American street food.
Let's take the camera. I mean, all of this, everything I have here.
You got one of those drones that'll like follow us?
Yeah, I got a cool drone. Yeah.
Like I just walk and it just
Yeah. It's so funny. Like I have so much gear and then I have friends that are so much better at videography and photography and
we should make a videography thing for the brewery.
yeah, we should. And I have a friend that'll help do it. I won't name him on the he's been on the podcast. Actually, fuck it. Ema. I love you, bro. He helped me set up the studio. He has an amazing story, some recent stuff that's happened that he'll tell later.
I also love how I could just walk into the studio and it's like, yep, I did this. I ain't do shit.
No, it's a lot of work, man. But
I appreciate the work that y'all did, and it's a beautiful set.
Ema was key. It's so funny. In 20 minutes, he comes in with lights and just fix. And that's, I think, and I'll tag him in this because it's just such a testament to the craft. Like I love to nerd out on equipment and like technology, and I'm a student. I love to learn things, but I'm a novice.
Do you read to learn things?
I read a lot. I listen to a lot. I there's a lot of times that while I'm working, I'm listening to a book.
Oh, while you work?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't do it.
But
I'm a chill hop radio guy, like live chill hop.
depends on what I'm doing. If I'm doing graphic design or like something visual, then I'll.
What about when you're coding?
It's silence usually. Actually, so for me, I've realized that if I put headphones on with nothing on but just noise canceling, blank headphones, it's the act of having the headphone that helps me focus and blocking out the sound. So that's a new thing in the last like 3 months that I'm testing, I guess, optimization.
Know things like, have you tried music with no words, like chill hop, like where they're not?
Yeah, I do sci-fi, chill hop, alpha brain,
Tropical
athletic
house,
greens. No,
yeah.
I do all the human. If there's
Athletic greens.
if there's a human optimization hack out there,
I think we could get them to sponsor this.
we could get to the CEO. Yeah.
I don't even think you need the CEO. I mean, they sponsor a lot of podcasts that I
love
podcasts
that. I mean,
and vlogs.
here's my plug. I've taken it every day now for 45 days. 45 days.
I'm glad you should know that off the top of your head.
I do. It was this morning because this morning my third subscription just came through.
Oh.
So I've 45 days and I did the math.
Does it work? You feel better?
So I don't know what does it work means. But
do you feel healthy?
As somebody that was a former very in good shape, very athlete, military, got out of shape, drank too much, and then have moved back to okay, I'm in my 30s, have to be optimal to run my business and maintain, do all the things that I'm doing. I feel like I'm creating an ad right now, but I'm not. But I've taken it for 45 days. And there's been consistent days in a row that I've told my wife that I'm like, I feel so much better. I feel great.
Do you think it's just the vitamins?
My gut health feels better.
Your poops are good.
Everything's just good.
Yeah.
Like a probiotic, athletic
What was that?
greens.
What was that move? Or just
poops are good, man. Yeah. And that's such a big part of the human body.
It is, and
it's
so taboo to talk about it. But everyone poops.
Taboo. There's
women poop.
How many billion
I don't care
people?
What all y'all saying out there, women are pooping.
It's 2023, man. Nobody's denying that they poop. It's just
some women deny that they still poop.
But how many people are unhealthy poop? Like they don't take probiotics. They eat like shit. They just feel and you know what? Do
you not eat like shit? Eating like shit makes me feel good.
I
love
try
to
not
just double cheeseburger fries from Petey's.
It makes my soul. It makes my soul as an American feel good. It just crushes I just feel like dog shit for a day and a half.
Yeah.
My gut health feels
good,
terrible.
Like double chili dog.
And you've got to be
glizzies.
You've got to be over the age of 30 to even understand what we're talking about. Because when you're 25, you can eat whatever you want.
Rice and Hot Pockets, like that would.
If for some reason at 25 you get a humidifier.
All right, so what we're saying is, I think I need athletic greens. Don't even.
Are you worried about it? I mean, what's?
I'm going to enjoy this Miller High Life.
So I'm interested. I would like if anybody's made it to this point in the podcast where you're actually still listening to this ridiculous,
which hopefully you are.
I would like people to start adding comments on what should we be doing differently. We're local Greenville guys.
What do you want to see?
Yeah, what do you want to see? What do you want to do?
Who do you want us to talk to? Because we're not afraid. I'll go ask anybody.
And we have access to a lot of people.
Yeah, I mean,
even in Greenville, just what is interesting. There's so many things happening. I drive by buildings and I'm like, I want to know who's doing that project, what's going on, who's in, I want to know things. I'm sure everybody in Greenville is like that.
Yeah.
And we're not trying, Tabbi Hour Podcast, we love you if you're listening outside of Greenville, but the reality is we're focused on the Greenville market. If you're listening outside, great. Thank you. Reach out to us, leave a comment, send us a message, come hang out.
Shoot us an email. Do we get an email yet?
We do, yeah.
info@Tabbi.
You know what's funny? I just bought yesterday the TabbiHourPodcast.com.
Perfect. So info@TabbiHourPodcast.com.
Everything has been.
That's a long info@TI.
I don't know.
THP. THP.
It's funny to me about how many people that I meet that are like, "Oh, your business is that podcast," and I'm like,
THP is a Tabbi Hour Podcast.
People think Tabbi Hour
is an
Podcast
off flavor
is
in
my
beer.
business. People think Tabbi Hour Podcast is the business.
They just don't know yet.
It's fun. Yeah, but we have to create that. The N.
So follow all of us. Thanks for listening today.
Are we wrapping it up?
Yeah, let's wrap it up. We'll have a bourbon. We're gonna wrap it up. We're gonna recharge. Give us a follow, right? I'm Cuzzin Adam at, I think it's Cuzzin Adam on Instagram.
I'm at Bradley Laughlin.
And then
That's weird. I gotta change that. Bradley.
B. Laughlin.
Nobody calls me Bradley.
I call you Bradley because Jenny calls you Bradley.
Jenny can call me Bradley. It's
funny. I actually walked in the barber shop the other day. We're not wrapping it up, just lied. Walked in the barber shop wearing a Tabby shirt. And man,
You did?
Yeah, it had to have been on a Saturday. And
You were at Liberty.
Gabriel
Yeah.
comes up and he's like, "Oh,
Yeah,
Tabby."
We gotta have Gabe on the show.
And it was kind of, I love Gabe and his wife, Marcella, I think.
I've never met Marcella. I'm excited.
Oh, it's great. Like, so the biggest disappointment, like, I'm pretty sure it was last year. I had an event going on and Gabe's daughter had her quinceanera. And Jenny was like, "Oh, we're invited. Come on, let's go." And I was so upset because I know what kind of party that is, right? That is a party. So, actually, another funny story, right? Like, let's just keep backing it up. So, I used to live in Berea. Some people would call it San Souci, right? I love to claim Berea.
There is like that little town, San Souci, between TR and Berea.
Yeah, so it's really between Greenville, TR, Berea,
It's
City View, Parker.
It's the 10 o'clock on the clock of Greenville.
And so I was like on the other side of Cedar Lane Road, which was Berea. And there was a little on Cedar Lane or Blue Ridge, one of those roads, there's a little shop. And so been to El Salvador and having some Central America friends and family from Guatemala and El Salvador and Costa Rica, there was a little shop over there called Mr. Pupuseria, right? So saying that, I was initially intrigued. And again, I'm very cultured where, I'm going to walk in, I'm going to find out what's going on. I'm going to order me some damn good ass food, no matter what kind of shack, shithole, truck, whatever.
Those are the best, always.
So I go into this little convenience.
Find the guy that's cooking with a cigarette in his mouth. 2023 is the best food you've ever had.
I'm going to go into this little convenience store, right? So I go in and it's a pupuseria, right? It's Central American street food, right? From El Salvador. It's like this corn mesa, and they take it and they like put cheese or meat or cheese and meat and beans, and then they like make it in a ball and slam it on a flat top and fry it. And then they serve it with this like pickled cabbage.
You just contradict yourself. Slam it on a flat top and fry it, or it's like sear it.
Well, they're like frying it on the flat top, right? They're like grilling it off, right? Like
I think fry like
no,
oil.
they're not putting it in oil. Like they take this ball and then they smush it flat, and then it's served with like this pickled cabbage.
Okay,
and then it's usually like hot, right? That's like pickled in jalapeno juice and vinegar and. It's carrot, it's just great because you got this hot corn stuff with cheese and bean tortilla thing, delicious. So I like walk in there, start ordering. I'm a frequent customer. Figure out, they got a phone number. You can call them. I can place my order ahead. So like now I'm ordering like 10 pupusas on the phone, and they know it's me when I'm calling because I'm a gringo, right? Like I can speak pretty all right Spanish. But you can definitely, I'm not, my Spanish isn't that good.
You're a big bearded white man.
Yeah. And they're like, oh, hey, he's calling, but he's always ordering 10 pupusas, 12 pupusas, right? Because I'm ordering for friends. I'm trying to turn people on to this great food culture. So I start dating Jenny, tell her about this great restaurant, that I love up the road. She's like, my coworker's mother-in-law owns that restaurant. So it turns out Gabe's mom, the guy who cuts your hair, his mother-in-law owned, I think they've sold it now, that restaurant. And so when Jenny was like, it's Gabe's daughter's quinceanera, it was like the food that is about to be there. And I had to miss it for...
Gabe, I'm a little mad at you that I didn't know this before. I hope you're listening. Second,
I don't even know why we got on the quinceanera train.
is it public? Is the salon is public?
Yeah, the new barbershop. It's not a salon.
The new
It's a barbershop.
So I told Gabe, because as this whole thing came up, I was like, once you find the guy that cuts your hair, until they die or you move, guy or girl, once you find the person that cuts your hair, until they die or you die or you move or they move, like that's it.
But even so, Amber, the girl
I told Gabe, I was like,
hair,
actually, dude, I don't care where I go in the U.S. I'm just going to fly you to me.
So Amber, who's been cutting my hair, I've followed her from Liberty to Studio 57 to the downtown to Tony's, back to Liberty, and now to the Barber Collective.
Gabe, I'm going to make you the social link that, like, for this podcast. You need to come on the podcast.
So that's
I've been trying to tell Gabe. I've been trying to tell you to come on the podcast. You're like, I don't know what to talk about. Come have some bourbon.
Jenny won't come either.
Come have some bourbon with Cuzzin and I.
Bring some food.
You'll bring some food. Yes, you have to bring some food now.
Or your mother-in-law can. Well, maybe you know, Gabe, we love you. Bring the mother-in-law.
Yeah, even better.
But yeah, so the barbershop's out there. It's news.
I think we end it there.
It's going to be great. Well, let's end it. So
we've got some cool
Tabbi
guests
people,
coming in.
Got some great people. Follow us, social media at Tabbi Hour Podcast on Instagram and Facebook. I'm at Cousin Adam at your service, producing at Magnetic South Beer, Instagram. Follow at Tabbi and co-host Brad Laughlin. You really search anything, you're gonna find us. We're there. We're out there. We love you, people. One love. We're definitely not ending it that way every time.